It's here, it's here, it's here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Ken Johnson. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you've noticed that I've acquired a new boat. Well, new to me, it's old, But we got the boat, and then we did some painting and things of that nature. Did minor modifications, nothing big, just, maybe some trailer lights, doing some posts, runner posts that are lighted, things of that nature. And it's been a good boat. I call it Sneaky Squatch. And we've had a good time with it, but on the last outing with my wife, as I pushed off and went to use the trolling motor, it worked for just a little bit, and then it just gave out. And it would come on and off, and it just wasn't working. Alright, so we had to finally get back to shore. It was storming. That was a disaster of a trip. Plus, we was trying out a new spot, and that's always different. Well, what I did is I looked up the parts. So I went to fish307.com and went to their website. I will say that Fish307, although they're a great resource for the do-it-yourselfer, especially for trolling motor parts, things of that nature, and they have a wealth of data on schematics and everything else. Their staff can be lackluster at best, and they're kind of dated. They're almost like revisiting the 90s again. I tried emailing. That took days and days and days with no response. I called. They still have a landline, and that was extremely staticky. Then I finally got a hold of a guy, because the first guy couldn't help me, and then there's another one named Ethan, and Ethan was a rock star, I'm telling you. I made sure I wrote down his name, because Ethan, if you're watching, thank God for you, son. You did a fantastic job. And he got me most of the parts of what I needed. Then the rest I was able to mostly figure out on my own using their website. Got everything ordered for less than $22 with shipping included. I was able to get the parts. So now let's see if we can get this thing fixed. Alright, so we got the boat hooked up, and we're going to be headed out to Ricky's in just a second to get this thing right here fixed. So, you know how it is. Two guys with a well-equipped workshop can do enough damage that 5 men in 4 counties couldn't repair in a day. So we're going to try to get this fixed right here, get this working right. I'll show you how we do it, or may have to be doing a video on showing how to put on a new trolling motor. We'll find out. Hey guys, so we got by here Ricky Wallace. If you hadn't ever seen him, you haven't been watching my channel. This is my fishing buddy. Anytime that I got something I can't handle, he's one of the first people I call. And so we're going to try to fix this trolling motor today. And so it gave out on us, or on my wife and I. If you hadn't seen that video, I'll put a link here. It was where we was testing out a new spot, and first thing, as soon as it got off the water, or got on the water, this trolling motor gave out. I don't think it's the switch. I think it is probably down here, but I've got the battery. We'll hook it up. But first thing that I want to do is I want to check this right here. I've got a tester. We're going to make sure once it's hooked up to the battery that's not the switch. I'm pretty sure it's not the switch. I went to Fish307 and bought a brush kit for this Minn Kota edge. I think it's the brushes, so I'll show you all that. And Ricky will probably have much better footage than I do, so check out his channel. so that if there's something you can't see in my video, I'm sure Ricky will cover it because he's been doing YouTube a lot longer than me. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here, it's hard to see from this angle. Ricky will probably have better angle on his channel because the way we're doing our cameras. So what I'm doing is there's a recess and there's some screws here, so I'm just unscrewing these right here, and that's how I take the top off so we can get to the switch. So we'll be back after I take the top off. Alright, so we put this on a vise to hold it up, taking the screws off. These are stainless steel screws, so that means that magnet will not pick it up, so be careful not to drop it. Ask me how I know. So we've spent a little while looking for screws. First thing, I noticed there's a little water coming out of the handle. I thought maybe it got some water in there, so we're just checking everything. It looks like there's no corrosion. We're going to hook this up to the battery. I've got a voltage meter. We'll hook that up, and then we'll see how this works and make sure everything is going like it ought to. Okay. Yeah, that's the short circuit right there. Alright, so one of the first things that you do, you follow these two bottom lines, and then you run them and trace them out. So there's one here, and then there's one here, or one here and one here. You'll do that first, and then that's just to make sure that you got the right amount of power that you're supposed to. So you just touch those two, and he'll touch them. You put that red one there and the black one right there. And every motor will be different. That's the reason why he's asking about that. We got power?
Yep.
Alright. Now the next one we'll have to help him with. Alright, now what we're going to do, that one right there controls the switch on this model, and this controls the switch on this model. So as I turn this, we should watch your foot in case it turns on.
See, there's our power right there.
Alright, and then if we still got power,
yep,
and it should be going up.
Yep.
Alright, and then that should be off.
Yep.
That there.
Yep. Right there.
So there we go. We got power, so it's not the switch. This is the reason why you need to have somebody that knows more about this stuff than you do if you're not mechanically inclined, because Ricky pointed out something I had never thought about, but once I thought about it for a second, it made sense. I brought a wrench and socket set that it's way bigger. It's about twice as big as this right here, and he was explaining to me the need for having, you know, everybody's like, why does a guy always have so many tools? Why does he need it? But he made a very good point. If you have a small ratchet set, then you're not going to get the torque and everything. You're not going to do any type of damage to your screws or anything like that you would, or bolts, versus something bigger like what I had. I just have one. You know, he has multiple. That's the reason why I harp on having a good quality shop and having good quality tools and a variety of tools. So
you got more feel.
Yeah.
But a heavier tool, you're heavier handed.
Yeah.
So
that's
a quarter-inch socket set is a must, I think, for anybody.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is this will take a 1/2 inch. I'm going to take this off right here, and then there should be some other stuff. I'll show you those elements once we get in here, but that's the next step I'm going to do. Now guys, what I'm going to do is you see this washer and everything, I'm going to take everything and put it off to the side in order that it goes, so that I don't mess up, because I can screw up very quickly. But this pin, one of the first things that I've noticed is that we've got some rust going on here. Luckily I already knew about it. I've got me a new pin. Those are the 1/4 inch bolts right there that will be taken out. We'll do that. This casing right here is a magnet. it'll come right off. So all we're going to do is just slowly take off pieces as we get to it, and then put them off to the side in order so they don't get out of order. So we ran into an issue here. One of the screws or one of the bolts is seized up, and so what I'm doing is I'm just going back and forth, getting just a little bit of hold at a time, trying to get this to do like it's supposed to and wiggle free and break loose. Once we get the shoulder off a little bit, we should be okay, I think, I hope. But right now I'm trying not to break off the bolt in there if I can. So this is something that you don't see usually on these YouTube repair things, is when it's big eyes and brown shorts time, what do? And it's normally don't force it. Just take your time, little pieces. So that's what we're doing, little by little.
Problem solved. See all this? That is water. It's got all up in there. That's rust all over that armature there. This spins against that magnet, and that's what makes the whole thing go. It's what makes the world go round, as they say. Now, we noticed in that kit that Ken got, this has been worked on before. And these bolts here, there's supposed to be O-ring seals in there. And of course there's one on the shaft here. And there were none, there is no O-rings there. So over time that water has leaked in there, caused that mess right there. So I think clean that up real good, clean all this up good, and put it back together, and it might work. Unless you want to go on down to the bottom where the brushes are.
Well, I mean, we can take this off.
I got to take it off and clean it.
And clean it, and then see what we're dealing with the brushes. I think just seeing if there's any wear or anything. But I noticed that there's some filings that was on here as well.
Yeah, it feels like sand almost.
Yeah, it feels just like sand.
A new bearing is in this kit, so you can at least put a new bearing on it.
Yeah, we'll put a new bearing. We'll clean this up. This right here, you need to use old leather. If you don't have old leather, one of those Mr. Clean sponges would work. At worst case scenario, a green scouring pad, but you need to do it very light. But the main reason why you need to clean it up is to make sure that there's nothing causing the brushes to have wear. But the pin on this broke in half. So I mean, this is the pin now.
Just like mine did.
Yeah, it just broke in half. So I got an extra pin. But we're gonna clean all this up because you can see all this goop and garbage. Clean the inside of this. This is a magnet, is all this is, a big giant magnet. We'll take that off, and you can see where we got corrosion on all this. So we'll clean all this up, put on there's an O-ring that's supposed to be there. I don't see an O-ring. If I do,
that's what they say. I don't see one either.
If it's there, yeah, I see it, I think, but it's back gone. So I'm gonna make sure that we got everything on here that we can that seal it up.
You got a new O-ring in there too, don't you?
Yeah, I got new O-rings. So we're just gonna do a good cleaning of this, sealing it up. We may not have to put brushes on it. If that's the case, fine. If we have to put brushes, that's fine too. We'll do whatever it takes. But I think a big cleaning is gonna be in store for this.
Yep, this just picks right straight up.
Yeah.
Let's mark which side this is, just in case it needs to go back the same way.
Okay. Alrighty. See you in a second.
Alright. Now at least we know what it is.
I just wanted you to see in here, there's some white garbage and all that. It's gotten all sorts of, it's flaky and just weird stuff, ooey gooey stuff. So we got our work cut out for us, but water's all in here. The brushes are wore down. It's not looking good, folks. Guys, we're going to do sturgery. So what's happened is the pins broke off into the shaft there. I got a new pin, but I got to be able to get it in there. So only thing we do is drill it out because the other two ends broke off.
I've soaked it in oil, tried to tap it out easily, and it won't come out. Let's see what we can do here.
Future Ken here, I just wanted to speak to you about something. I believe that it's important that you learn from your mistakes, and if at all possible, try to learn from mistakes of others. A lot of YouTubers, they will either not tell you they made a mistake or they will edit out the mistakes. If they don't tell you they made a mistake and you're trying to follow what they're doing, well, then you're going to recreate their mistakes. And that's pretty heinous behavior in my point of view. But if they edit it out, then you don't know what you're looking at. You may make the same mistake they did, which is almost as heinous. So I leave my mistakes in as much as I can, and I do not edit them out, especially if it's something important like this next step. You're going to see me do something that I shouldn't have done. We thought that there was so much water in there that the armature had received oxidation, because copper, when it oxidizes, it turns a seafoam green. And we thought that was oxidized copper. That was not the case. It is actually a protective coating on a component of the armature. And so you're going to see me having it in a drill press with a piece of sandpaper, sanding it down. Don't do this. You can mess up an armature. Or armature and trolling motor will run you about $70. So you don't want to have that happen. Luckily, we was able to realize our error before we got too far down, but I just wanted to point that out so that you can learn from my mistakes. So this next section, just realize this is a lesson in what not to do as far as messing with that green part of the armature.
Ken's got some 320 grit paper. I'm going to clean up that armature on there. It's going to take a little bit because there's a lot of stuff on there. You get down showing it's supposed to be a copper color. Well, it is copper. You get down to the copper, you know, get some Scotch-Brite or steel wool pad, something like that.
Okay, it looked kind of like that green stuff was a coating on there, a protective coating, so we tried not to mess that up too bad. I cleaned up the other parts of it, and now we've got a bearing puller. And so Ricky has got the bearing puller and pulling off this bearing right here.
Attempting to. I think it's coming. I don't know.
There is a way you can do it with a 1/2-inch wrench, and you just kind of force it off with percussion hits with a hammer, but this is a lot better if you can use that. So having the right tool does help.
Puller has bottomed out there. Not quite. Now we can put this centerpiece back on it.
We'll be back in a minute, folks. Tell you what, if anybody can screw up something, it's me. So when I ordered this kit, I thought that the bearing came in it. When I looked at it, I thought the bearing was in there, but it wasn't. So evidently it wasn't a part of the kit and I didn't order it. So what Ricky did is he used the green emery cloth here, the little dish scrubber thing, and then he has a buffer. So we put on the buffing wheel they use to make his knives. So if you hadn't seen his knife making channel, definitely go watch that, and you can see him actually making knives with the buffer. But we've cleaned this up best we can. We're going to put this back on, lube it, but the bearing itself actually is pretty good. So
it feels smooth.
There's
no grit.
So I mean, it's spinning around smooth. There's no grit, there's no issues there, so it'll be fine. So what Ricky is doing is setting the bearing back in place with a socket. About what size socket did you use?
It is a 5mm.
Yeah, it just has to be able to be where you can put it clear of the spindle.
On the bearing race itself, not on the sealed part of the bearing.
Right.
That's it. It's there. It goes all the way down against that shoulder right there.
Yeah.
There's a shoulder machine in there.
All right. So
you learn a lot of stuff watching machine shop channels too.
It won't be a trip to Ricky's without some type of sling blade reference. But anyway, so what's happening is that there's a brass side here I need to make sure I don't mar up, and then this other side, you got a slick side right here. So what's going to happen is I've got to take this and hit on one side and then on the other between this brass copper fitting thing and this right here. So I'll put this right here, and there we go. Bob's your uncle.
Came right out of there. Mm-hmm.
He likes cornbread or mustard and biscuits. And then there's another washer. I don't think the washer came with the kit. I'm gonna look. But all you gotta do is just take you a screwdriver and just comes right out. You'll just pop it out with a screwdriver. So I'll get a flathead in a minute and we'll pop that out.
What'd you call me?
Okay, so this is a little different than some of the other ones you might see on YouTube. There's normally a rubber washer, and what they've done instead is that they have this metal piece that I'll clean up, and it's fitting over a spring, and this little round spring here is going against the little gasket here and acting as compression fitting. So that's what's going on here. I'm gonna clean this up real quick, and then we'll put this in. We'll seat this on top of everything, and that should be that for this one. Future Ken here again. So this is the other mistake that we made that was pretty critical. So there was a rubber piece in there, and it is different than what a lot of YouTube channels show. So what happens is that there's a piece of copper in there that presses against the rubber, and there's also that spring ring that I was talking about. That spring ring goes on and actually comes with that rubber piece, and it just wasn't wanting to come out, and what I had to do was actually go from behind and hit it again. I would have got that secondary seal. So it does come with two seals. So after we got done, there was that extra piece. When I got looking at it, I realized what it was and what we had messed up and done, or what I've messed up and done. Because this was my show. Ricky was just giving me assistance as I needed it. So that was my bad on that one. But anyway, yeah, so when you hit that first one that comes out, then you can actually go from that back end like we did the first time, kind of get that seal out. really depends on the trolling motor, but Minn Kota, from what I understand and what I've seen, it is 2 seals in there. So we left the old seal in there, but really and truly, it wasn't the one that went bad. That it wasn't what originally went bad. So I'm not too concerned about us leaving it in there. I could have gone back in there and took out the other one, put that in there, but I think I would have done more damage to the seal I had replaced. So just letting keep it in there so that you know where my errors are so that you don't recreate it. Okay, I cleaned up everything, put it back in. This will go in. I'm going to just seat it. I'll use the little socket technique to set it back in, but we're going to put some lithium grease in here. So what we're going to do now is I put a little bit of lithium grease, sprayed lithium grease, and I'm just going to put this seal over this. Oops, wrong size seal.
Wrong one.
Wrong O-ring.
There's 2 of them.
Just remember, there's 2 different sizes of O-rings, so this is the smaller of the 2.
Ask him how he knows that.
Yeah. Alright, so what I did, we're trying to work our way down, troubleshoot what we can. One of the issues is you got to take the springs out. There's a big side and a little side. Now in this model, it's the big side goes in. Now in some of the other models, different story. So just be aware of that. And then this will actually fit into this little housing. So this had already popped loose. This one will have to pop loose. We'll take it out. Yeah, it's stuck. So I got to get that out. There's still some cleaning up in here that I'm gonna have to do because that's still ooey gooey. So I'll get all that cleaned out some more and be back in a minute.
And we got new brushes.
Yeah, we got new brushes. We got all that. So these have little crimps and a tab, and so what you do is when you pull this out, it's got to go back in the right spot. So this right here, you want the crimps to be facing inward when you put them back in. But we're going to take these out right now. Both of these is seized up in there. I'm going to take it out and get that out, get the spring out, and then we're going to clean this up some. Guys, this was ooey gooey crap. I mean, I ain't joking. That was covered. Just clean water was a lot, and then there was rust and everything. But you got 2 magnets that are attached here, and you can see where there's a little crease there. And then on the other side, it looks to me like it might have been a previous owner. I don't know how many owners back. I don't know how old this is. This is a pretty old model, but it looks like they had to put this back together with some epoxy and fill it up. There's a little bit of epoxy coming out there. But we're going to go ahead, and there's a shoulder right here. I'm going to put some petroleum jelly. And then right over here, we got all that cleaned out. I'm going to stick some petroleum jelly in here, put the brushes, put that in petroleum jelly, and stick those back in there, and then we can start putting all the pieces back. Okay, so what we've done, you have to have the wire part standing up when you fit them in there. So they have to be able to touch. You have to spread them apart, and then you sit that down. Now that is spinning nice and smooth. So next step is we're going to go ahead and put on the next components. I'm going to put on the O-ring right here on this, and we'll start fitting this all together. So I may actually have to set up a system here because I forgot that this is a magnet. And when you put magnet over metal, magnet likes to grab metal. So yeah, we almost had a catastrophe, but catastrophe was averted. I'm gonna set this up. I'll show y'all how we get that in there. You just have to have somebody holding it still while you're holding it, making sure everything's like it ought to be. And we'll be back in a second. We made a mark.
Where's the marks at?
Marks right there on the side.
Hang on.
I'm gonna have to put this down, so I need you to move your fingers.
Down below. I gotta hold it to you.
Okay. like it ought to be, so it's in there good now.
Gotta get over that little bitty spot where that pin is. There it is.
There you go.
Right in there.
Now,
Elbow rings on here. And they're hard too.
the new ones don't have a shoulder.
Yeah, they're flexible like they're supposed to. Supposed to be. A little bit of that on there. Poor man's anti-seize, that's what this is. Now which one was slightly bent?
I think I got the slightly
I
bent.
think that was on this side. That one goes back in there.
Remember he marks down there so we can get it lined up. He marked the sides so they'd be perfectly lined up.
That's the mark right there. I'll let you mess with that. There we go. It's like that, Tater. Gotta get it just right. Now once we make sure it runs, we're going to tune it. And we got to leave these barely, just so we can move the whole assembly. And the same process I'm going to have to do with mine whenever we get back to it. It's still too hot to fish, y'all. For some of us. Sasquatches can go fishing and don't bother them.
Yeah, well, not everybody can be a squatch.
You know what?
What?
I'm kidding. You ain't. He says I'm not impressed. Yeah, we run on like this because we've known each other for a lot of years. That's we can do that.
I'm about the only one go fiddler crab hunting with him.
Yeah.
Something about moccasins makes all these big YouTubers skittish. I don't know why.
Next time I'll drop you off and let you know where they're at now. I stand in the boat. I went reach down to get one. What is that? It's moving. Oh, it's more moccasin.
Yep.
That spot is a treasure for fiddler crabs.
Yep.
No, I'm not telling you where it's at. Going in?
Yeah, that one kind of looks to go in, but seems a little bit rough.
That's the same one we had trouble getting out.
Yeah. That one you should be able to get in.
Barely snowed for right now.
Is that grabbing him? I couldn't get grab. I couldn't get grab.
Alright, y'all, we're gonna give her a test. See that? Everything's back together. Hit the switch on me too.
You can go ahead and do it.
We're gonna go forward in first. Right road. Battery charged good.
Should be charged. Guess I gotta do a battery of some sort. Of course, nothing is ever easy, so what we've noticed is that this one right here has been a little bit it's just flouncing around doing whatever it wants. This one seems to be pretty solid, so we're going to take this out and see what we can see. See you in a minute. Okay, so what we did is we checked the negative side, and negative side wasn't even connected, so we clamped that back, cleaned all that, unscrewed that, pulled it out. And so just so that you can see, it has a little connector thing right there, and it wasn't even connected there. So we got it back, we got some screws got to put back in, and we'll give her a test.
Alright, we're gonna attempt this again.
Take two for testing at least.
Alright, ready? Let's turn it on. Look at that!
Yeah! Alright.
Look at that. Running like a brand new one.
Yay! Alright, what Ricky's doing is tune it up. So we're going to loosen it up a little bit.
Now I need to listen for the speed pitch. Can that slow down? Nope. That's about where it was. See how quiet that got? See, you listen for when you turn it like that a little bit, you hear it go faster and slower. And that back and forth, that was the fastest. That's where you want it to be. Notice I'm using 2 fingers. No wobble. That's hot. Do not tell me again that we can't fix something. There we go. Now we're going to get the prop back on it. We'll spin it one more time and admire our work.
There you go.
Then we'll get it put back on the boat.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. So yeah, there were some issues. First of all, I'm going to take blame for not getting the ball bearings. And yeah, I needed to do that. But I think it'll work fine. It was just corroded on the outside. The water seepage was the main culprit. I should have went all the way through the machine. I did not do that because most of the time when people mess up, it's that last part that I didn't want to go into. And the reason why is you can reverse your polarity. And then you have to re-tear out that whole thing. It's rough, okay? But you can use this information to basically rebuild any trolling motor. Fish 307, they're not a sponsor of my channel, but they have the resources available that you can get just about any part for any model that you need. And I mean, you could almost make a new trolling motor with their parts. That's how well stocked they are. So got a handle broken, they got it. Anything that you need, just realize it's like going back in the 90s. But, you know, for me, luckily I got a hold of Ethan. Ethan, again, you were a rock star, and I really do appreciate you so much. You just do not understand. Somebody else I appreciate deeply, my friend Ricky Wallace. Please go to his site. You know, Ricky kept saying, I didn't do anything. Buddy, you kept me sane. You helped me out. You provided tools and resources. You led another man into your shop using your tools and resources. That is something that's special. You know, it lets you know that's a good friend if he's letting you in his shop and you're using his resources. You're beyond friend level at that time. You're family or almost family. And Ricky and I, we see it that way. He refers to me as his little brother. That's his style. That's the way he lets people know I'm his younger friend. I'm his little brother. But please go to his site. He's done another video on this, so please check him out. And and he's probably got some different footage, probably got better footage. You know, you saw where the motor was running. It is running. It's now affixed to the boat. You can see that as well. And check him out. And also, if you don't mind, you might want to check out that video. And then that video, and then down below, there's another video that YouTube says might be something you would like. And reason for that is this video is over. Bye.